What is Hallyu? It's a phenomenon that you've definitely been exposed to before. You've seen Psy, you've heard of BTS, you've even seen Squid Game. But what is it that strikes a line through these iconic pop culture monoliths? Hallyu refers to the massive growth of South Korean popular culture, music, TV, film, food, webtoons, and how it's been seen internationally since the 90s. Today we'll be delving into just how Korean pop culture has exploded overseas, particularly in the UK, and why it's here to stay. In recent years, the Korean wave has been closely studied, with museums like the Victoria and Albert holding exhibitions to celebrate South Korea's rich cultural history. The accompanying book, and many recent studies, have attempted to explain just how it all happened. But before that, let's look at K-pop. Korean popular music has always had a distinctive and universal feeling, even before it reached the West. But the true catalyst for change was one man and one man only. Psy. Psy stormed into the top charts everywhere in 2012. From the US to Australia to the UK, his hit single Gangnam Style and the dance that came with it made waves.
Psy is like the father of K-pop, pretty much, literally like a pioneer on what K-pop has become today.
Darius is a K-pop YouTuber from the UK who makes reaction and discussion videos. With Gangnam Style becoming the most watched YouTube video in late August 2012, Darius is absolutely right in calling Psy the father of K-pop.
Well, I started this channel back in 2020. If I became a K-pop fan, I guess I should officialize it in a way. This was also a way to communicate with other K-pop fans. People are looking to find people that like the same things, and like I make a video about a certain group and then the fandom of that group comes to my channel, they recommend other songs, and that's how I pretty much go and discover more and more each time. The first K-pop group, they were called Soteji and the Boys. Since then we've had like 4 generations, still counting.
It's definitely interesting to see how far South Korean music has gone since its popularization by Psy. It's bizarre to think that this is the same as this, which is the same as this.
I know how many people say, K-pop means Korean pop. It doesn't really mean Korean pop. K-pop is not a single genre of music, it's multiple genres combined.
Just as important as K-music is of course K-drama, and global media student Priya has a lot to say about it.
I find a lot of similarities, a lot of things that I can relate to in Korean media far more than I tend to find them in like Western media. So one of the assignments that I did, it was mostly focused on how American culture had influenced Korean media. And I analyzed this TV show called Vincenzo. It's on Netflix. It's really good if you want to watch it. And how they had so many influences from American culture in the TV show that they didn't even realize. The way that Koreans dress in the TV show, they're all completely always decked up in Western clothing. She only shows up in those in traditional clothing twice, and he only shows up in traditional clothing once.
Maybe this is why K-culture is so popular overseas. There's an element of familiarity. On the other hand, for South Asians like Priya, there's something that hits even closer to home.
I enjoy Korean dramas a lot more than I enjoy Western dramas, and that's because as a South Asian woman, I feel like Korean dramas are far more approachable to Asian audiences. Teenage romance is far more real in K-dramas because of the kind of restrictions that we have in Asian homes as teenagers. You're watching an American TV show and the leads are kissing in the first episode and you're like, yeah, whatever. The leads touch their littlest finger in the 8th episode of a K-drama and suddenly you're a blushing mess on the floor because you're so invested in their story. So that's why I personally enjoy watching them more.
Alongside K-drama is the humble webtoon, which is another major cultural import.
Since like webtoons started obviously as online stories that people could read and enjoy.
Would you say that the webtoon industry and the K-drama industry are linked in a way?
Well, Itaewon Class obviously started as a webtoon story about like rising up from your ashes, I guess.
What's Wrong with Secretary Kim is based on a webtoon. Reborn Rich is based on a webtoon.
Now we got like probably hundreds of thousands of K-dramas to watch.
My ID's Gangnam Beauty is also based on a webtoon. Yeah, they're inherently linked at this point.
I think without webtoons, there wouldn't be enough K-drama ideas.
So, we've seen what Hallyu looks like from a multimedia perspective. But what about in the real world? Dance challenges, haircuts and makeup aside, the success of South Korean snacks and cuisine stands out as just another big thing that you may not have noticed. Take, for example, hidden in plain sight along Charing Cross Road in Soho, Oseyo and the nearby Seoul Plaza. A self-described Korean food and culture hub, Oseyo successfully capitalized on the growing import good phenomenon. South Korean record stores are also popping up in central London, like Sokollab, which features an impressive collection that you might completely miss if you weren't aware. Don't be surprised to see these shops open up in your local area soon either, because I hope that you've seen, just as I have, that Hallyu is here to stay. South Korea's reputation as a pioneer in modern multimedia production paints a bright future for the nation as a whole, and I think, considering the warm reception and massive success of Korean pop culture, that we're all the better for it. This is Hallyu.